everybody. Welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Travel Chick Chat Day. So excited to see everybody here today. Very exciting. We've got two amazing women guests, which is really cool. And of course, during our second half hour, we're going to bring some people up too and let them tell their stories, which is so much fun. So, oh my gosh, we see a lot of people here. Come on over. So let me just say right now, Dreamer on Wheels. Good to see you. So really cool. And Gracie Seeking Adventures is boondocking for her very first time at Walmart. Oh my gosh. So good luck on that, Gracie. I know you're going to do great. Thrifty Angela's here. Of course. Okay. Here's our moderators. Gotta love our moderators. We really appreciate all you guys out there who's doing some really good dropping of links and making sure we're all safe. Aloha Kak. Good to see you. Very cool. Oh, there's Tim Tim. Uh-oh. Gracie is... Yes, I've had a few. No, I have not. I've been drinking a lot of water today. A lot of love this. And different Gracie. Imagine that. Let's see here. Traveling with Nick is here. Very, very cool. Nice. We love all our friends. It's so fun. And Marshall is here. Good to see you, Marshall. We appreciate you coming by and see what's going on. So I'm sure I'm going to miss a few people, but we're going to get going and let everybody get to meet our really cool guests today. So with that being said, I'm going to bring up one at a time. And we're going to let them introduce themselves. And we've got a few questions for them. So I'm going to start with Kelly. Are you ready? All right, here she comes. The one, the only, Vanderella.
Hey, everybody.
How are you?
I'm okay. I took a nap because my sleep schedule's off. And I told Alexa, I guess, go away at some point. And I was having a really interesting dream. And then all of a sudden I thought, oh, I better see what time it is so I can be ready for the travel chick chat, and it was 5 till, and I was like, oh, I overslept.
I got this. Wait, this is exactly how I felt. I was like, what?
Yep, that's exactly how I felt. And then right before you brought me up, Maddie decided to start barking. So I was like, oh, please be quiet, little dog.
That's okay. Maddie's totally part of the family. That's what it's all about. So this is fun. So, and can I share a picture of Maddie real quick? Because this is we were just talking about Maddie. She is, and you can tell everybody who Maddie is.
She's just very spoiled. Aw, I love Maddie so much. That's her with Jonnie in the background. But we got Maddie, let's see. It would have been in 2015, right? The first week of June. And we thought we were getting her from a reputable breeder. It comes to find out, I think she was more from like a puppy mill background. But anyway, she came to us and she had fleas and worms and all that fun stuff. We got some extra little critters with her as part of the deal.
Wow.
So
wow. And she's absolutely adorable. Hey, I hate to do this. I hate to start a show off with some sad news, but I just want to say we're praying for you right now. One of our community members lost her brother this morning. Lost his battle with cancer. So Susan, Susan, Jim, we'll pray for you. And thanks for sharing that information with us, because we know we always want to be there for one another. So thank you.
Yeah, Susan, we'll keep you in our prayers.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some other fun stuff, because Maddie's really cute. I'm sorry. You know me, I love the dogs. I want to know real quick, because your partner is Jonnie, and you guys have been doing the van thing for a while now. And what van are we on now? Are we on van number 2 or 3? I forget.
I guess it's like van number 2 for us. We built out Fiona. The first van she ever worked on was for that retired teacher. So that was never our van. That lady owned the van the whole time. And then the gentleman saw that, Jonnie had paid that forward to the retired teacher, and he offered up his van. He bought an RV close to our house. And I guess the RV place doesn't take things in on trade. And he tried to give the van away to a veterans organization, and 2 or 3 veterans came to look at it and they didn't want it. When we got it, it was in pretty rough shape. So It was like he had just put the keys in the dashboard and left. He even forgot his national parks pass in it, and we ended up sending it to him.
Yeah. So it sounds a little like you guys were starting from scratch. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So here's the question everyone wants to know, and I'm gonna ask these same questions to our second guest when she gets up here too.
Okay.
But why did you start traveling in an RV?
Well, the reason we wanted to do van life is one of the things is national parks have a limit on what can be in the park. I think it's like 24 feet. And so we wanted something that would be, we didn't necessarily want it to be stealthy. We weren't planning on, being all these different places where we don't pay for camping, but we just wanted a rig that would be, manageable and meet the national park requirements. And then Jonnie, for as bold and brave as she is, she really didn't feel like she wanted to tow something. And
Yep.
so towing something really wasn't something she wanted to do. And then we have this one friend, and she goes on and on about how scary it would be to have like a towing situation, like a fifth wheel. And then if you hear a sound in the middle of the night, like, you don't want to go out of your rig to hook up and get in your vehicle. So she was all about, the van, because then you're just all contained.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would hear something scary, you could just drive off. So, I
Take
mean,
off.
that wasn't a big factor for us. I think it was just the size and maybe even affordability, honestly, because it was just kind of a second vehicle that we were taking on.
Absolutely. And I think it's sort of
Yeah.
interesting because I'm a van lifer too. And it's sort of fun
Yeah.
because the lady I'm going to bring up in just a second here, she has a very large class C. And
Hmm.
I went from a class C down to a van. It's typically the other way around. Typically you start small and you get bigger. I
Yeah.
was looking at flexibility, like you said, and I was looking at, how can I get in and out? And I don't mind driving a big vehicle. It's just, I'm doing more national parks like you talked about and doing more things like that. And it just gives me lots of different opportunities. And cost of fuel, because I'm not towing. That's another big issue. But I'm going to bring up our second guest, and she's going to tell us just
Okay.
a little bit about herself. So, are you ready? Here she comes.
Hey, Red.
I think you're muted. Oh,
Can do that.
there you go.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
so tell the world all about you.
Okay. Well, I'm 54 years old. I was married a long time. I have 5 kids. They're grown. And we were in Georgia. I'm originally from California, though. And I was in Georgia a long time. And my my kids sort of gradually left. My 2 oldest are there, and I'm going back there before I go to Mayberry to see my 2 oldest kids. But my my younger son is in Denver, so I've been to see him now twice in my RV. I started downsizing. I got this idea, I guess, in 2019, the end of 2019, and it wasn't even from YouTube. It was someone in a group in a like divorce. It was actually a um, narcissistic abuse recovery group. And I met this lady there that had wanted to do it for 2 years. And then she started out, and she had a little dog. Um, and she started out and she ended up doing for 4 years. But then she settled down, and she was like older than me. And she enjoyed it a lot. And then, I got on YouTube and found the community, and it was interesting. I think one of the first ones I found was 30 and a Wake Up,
Mhm.
Kevin, and that's where I met Jonnie over there. And then I went to Johnny's, and then I met like Kenneth Oakes, and then I just started meeting everybody in the community, and that was really wonderful. And
It makes a difference when you get to meet other people. When you talk about
yeah,
community, I think it makes a huge difference. I think I
it
didn't know this
does.
particular circle until I met Bradley Sullivan, who did a little interview thing way back in the day. And this is about a year and a half ago. So you guys were a whole nother segment of people that I had never met until about a year ago. And it's amazing what 1 year can do with a group of friends.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And I started out on there in the beginning of the year. And like in March, I only had like 100 subscribers, and I'm almost at like 350 now. Um, so that was surprising, and I still don't even. I'm still learning so much.
Mhm.
I don't know how to edit. I'm still working on that, and it's been so the most awesome thing has just been meeting people, and uh, like I met up with Dee and Van Life Voyages and Derek and Tanya, and then I was talking about I was so just burdened about the YouTuber who took her own life in March. And so I was going to do a live on it and was talking to them about it. And they had the same heart to like help people. And so we were just going to do a little clip to go on my live. And Tanya started filming Dee and I talking, and she said, well, let's do this for a video, a video by itself. And Tanya even helped me edit it and everything. They were just wonderful.
That's so cool. All right, now I'm looking at this. Is this your rig that I'm looking at right now?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about this just a little bit, because I think this is interesting. And Kelly, I'm going to come back to you on this one. So this is interesting. So you have how long is this? 34 feet? 30 feet?
It's 30 feet.
It's 30 feet. Okay. And how long have you had this?
I bought it in October of last year.
And I know you did some work there. You've been doing some stuff on it. Have you had any upgrades or things you've changed?
No, I had to fix things. So what happened is I started downsizing in December of 2019, and it took me like 9 months. So when I moved out of my ex's house, that was a 3,500 square foot house. So I had downsized from the 3,500 square foot house to a 1,600 square foot house. And then from the 1,600 square foot house to everything I own is in that thing. Well, fits in that thing. Right now I'm in a house because I was getting it fixed, and I'm actually doggy sitting, Charlie Grace. This is my home base here in Illinois. I'm actually right near Kelly and Jonnie, and nice. we had last time I was at my home base was in March, and we went and had dinner. So yeah, it's right near St. Louis, and I'm doggy sitting, and this is my home base. So I'm here to just chill, and my friend has work trip, and then she's taking a trip to Alaska actually. So I'm going to be doggy sitting her baby, her pit bull, Blue. And so no, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going? Okay. I sold my house in Georgia in August, and I usually go over this on my channel when I try to remember to go over it. I sold my house in August in Georgia. And then September, I left Georgia and came up here, and I found my RV up here, and I bought it on my birthday, actually. That was like kind of an accident. I was looking for it, and I happened to find it, and I was going to buy it on the 10th, but ended up actually, because of things with how to transfer the money and deciding how to do all that, we ended up just getting it on the 13th. Which I was like, hey, it's my birthday. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to get is my RV for my birthday. So yeah, I bought it in October, and then in November is when I left here and went to Denver first for Thanksgiving to see my son that's in Denver. And then from Denver, I went to Moab. I actually went to Arches National Park just for a day. I drove through it. And then I went to Flagstaff to see my niece, and then I ended up in California at my brother's, where I was for a little while.
That's a big trip. That's a really cool trip. That's really nice.
Yeah, I hung out with my brothers.
That's a lot. That's a lot of miles.
Yes, I put 6,000. So it turned over to, it was at 74,000 miles when I bought it, and I paid cash for it with the money from my house. And it was 26,500. It's a 2007. So I actually did pretty good. I was so nervous throughout the whole process. I was so nervous. But yeah, I put over 6,000 miles on it because it was set at 74. It was at 74,000, and now it's at 80,000.
Wow. 80. I feel you. I've got a brand new vehicle with about 7,000 miles on it since February. So Kelly, here's something I have for you. I know we're all talking about tips and hacks and things like that, but what kind of a tip would you give someone who's just starting out as a female traveler? What are some things you could think of that would be a good thing to know about?
This is just the opposite of what Red just said. But what we found with our van, what we did is we took a few shorter trips that were closer to home at first, just to kind of get the kinks out. And, we found like, oh, maybe we brought some stuff that we didn't really need. And, oh, we wish we would have brought this. And it was nice that we weren't on some, 3-month jaunt right out of the gate. So I think,
Right.
taking a few, I guess I would call them praxis trips right away.
Yeah.
And then, as much as I love the idea of Harvest Host, and aren't they friends of yours, Charlie Grace, or did they sell? Or
Harvest Host now sort of merged with Boondockers Welcome. So
okay,
it's the same thing. Yeah.
are they your friends still? Or?
Yeah, Joe Holland. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have a Harvest Host membership, and we haven't really got to use it that much because you're supposed to be there before the business closes so you can buy something and support them. And we're just not super planner people. Like, we'll plan a trip, but it'll say, GPS will say, oh, you'll be there in 6 hours. And it takes us like 8.5 or 9. I don't know what we do. We don't feel like we stop a lot, but so those type of things, like, you might think something's a good idea, and I still think it's a great idea, but once you actually try to use it, it may not be such a fit for you.
It's a different way of traveling. And I have to say that because if, in the way in which I've used it, because it's a good example, I'm the person who normally shows up later. I've got a van. I've been traveling all day. I've been doing things. I'm typically going to show up like right when they're closing the gate or something's about to happen. Yeah. And then we tend to look at the business the next day. Like, that's sort of how we do our Harvest Host in general. That's how that works out. Or if I know I'm going to I don't like to travel more than 4 hours in a day. That's just me. So I can sort of map out where that 4 hours would be, and I can look around and see if there's something around that I could stop at overnight, and make it worth my while and do it that way. And so we've had really good, experience doing it in that regard. So, they may close at 5, we may not get there till 7, and there's always like, okay, here's the gate code, or come on in, or whatever it is. I think the whole idea behind it is, what's nice about them is they do give you the contact information, so you can call them. And I know we were just someplace a while back, and we wanted to go to this one winery, and I'm like, let's just call them on a whim. You just never know. Say, hey, you got room for one more, or like, what's the deal? So that's been our experience. And sometimes they've even had full hookups, which freaks me out every time. When I walk in and they're like, you have water, sewer, and electric. I'm like, what? Really? I was just hoping to park my van by your barn. So
the one we went to by Silver Dollar City was amazing. He had all the hookups, like you're saying, and they had barn animals. He gave us 6 fresh eggs as a welcome gift. So it was definitely an awesome experience.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm going to Branson, and I don't have reservations yet.
We love Cracker Barrel to spend the night.
I do too.
Out. We'll drive as long as we can. Really? We tend to do more hours than that, Charlie Grace. So it'll be by the time Johnny's ready to stop driving, it's like, we need to find somebody.
Yeah.
Find a place.
I'm a huge fan of Cracker Barrel. I call it Cracker Schmerl. We love the Cracker Barrel. I love waking up, and the idea of, it's a little, you got to be careful if you're on a budget and you're traveling. I know these things, but I love breakfast foods. It's my favorite meal of the day. And the idea that I could just dial in or order on my phone and they bring me this amazing breakfast to my van. Love it.
Yeah. That's awesome. What we've done too.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I want to use my Harvest Host before it expires in November. I made a reservation, and then I ended up staying by the park. So I got an RV park for a month by my son in Denver. And then I made a reservation for one more night in Denver because my son and I hadn't gone hiking anywhere yet. We weren't able to get into Rocky Mountain National Park, but we went to Rattlesnake Gorge, which was really beautiful. And I ended up just staying the night at a park. He's like, Mom, this RV park is parked over there all the time. And I didn't get stopped or anything. I was like this sideways, so it's like, I'm gonna roll out of the bed. And it was a little bit noisy, but not too bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Dorian from Camping Therapy said, last time I had breakfast at Cracker Barrel, it was about $14, more than I want to spend. It's cheaper for me to eat dinner there than it is breakfast. Yeah, I will admit, breakfast foods, it's one of those things. I gotta love this. So real quick, so Kelly, do you have any other tips you can think of? Because I like your shakedown trip idea. I got to tell you, I did that when we got the van. where I just went someplace closer just to check all the mechanics and see if things worked and what was broken. And I made a nice little list of stuff. What else can you think of?
That's about it. I do a lot of research on places that we're going. I not to offend any of the YouTube people, but I usually do more blog, more blog research. Like even what is it, Travelocity? They have that top 10 things you have to do, and they usually have it for just about any city. So, and then there's some app on my phone. My phone's dead, so I don't know. But it's where you can put your route in and it'll tell you unique things along the way. Like in Collinsville, Illinois, it'd be the largest ketchup bottle or, different things like
cool.
that.
Is that Atlas Obscura?
It might be. It's just some app on my phone. I was thinking it had weird in the name, but
if you haven't heard of Atlas Obscura, that's one of those fun things where you find all the roadside attractions too.
I'm
That's
sure
always
even
fun.
You know, Charlie Grace, I wanted to like have my RV and then like at the house and take my stuff from the house and put it in the RV and like get ready. But I was in a position where I didn't have any extra money. I needed to sell my house in order to buy my RV. And then I was going to buy it in Georgia. But anyways, I just came up here to my friends and bought it up here instead, and that worked out really well.
Nice.
So the way I, had imagined and wanted to do it, it ended up being. I was in I actually stayed in a hotel in Georgia after I sold my house for like 3 weeks, sorting out all this little stuff that I hadn't got to when I was still in the house, and sorted through all these things. And it took me 3 weeks, like 30 years of a life. And I put stuff in a storage for my kids. It was like a 5x10 storage. And at first it was a mess and I had so much stuff. But I went through it all and left them nice things that my oldest wanted, and photos and little, things from when they were a kid and family heirloom type stuff. And then I fit everything I wanted. I had to fit it in my car. And then other things I got later. Thankfully, my RV was all stocked because it had been used before by an older couple. Their son was actually selling it, and they lived in Germany. The son was born in Germany, military, I think, and they would come over here and take the RV and go down to Florida. And he said they were actually. I felt better because it had just been used. They said that when COVID hit, they were in Florida and kind of got stuck. They were there in Florida, and then they were hanging out there still. And then they're like, "You have to go," because they were closing wherever they were staying in the park or whatever. So, and it was all stocked. I mean, it had a coffee maker already. I took stuff to Goodwill that I actually had planned on keeping for my RV, like my coffee maker or something like that. Because I got to have my coffee.
We've got to jump in real quick because we just got a super chat from Mo Bang for your bucks. And one of the most generous, wonderful people in our community here. And I've got to give him a really fun video, which is going to be really nice. So let me think. What can we do? Thank you for the super chat, Tim. Absolutely. We know, we appreciate it. And you know where the money goes because we send that money to our rescue shelters we work with. So thank you. Always a good time. We love those. All right. So this is fun. So, and just so you know, if anyone ever decides to give us a tip or a super chat, how we use that money is as we're traveling and we stop and we talk to different animal rescue organizations. That's exactly where it goes. So we had 2 ladies last week on from an animal rescue organization that does transportation. One was up in Chicago and one is down here in the South. And it's sort of fun. I don't want to say made a love match, but we made a rescue match. These ladies are going to connect, and hopefully one drives all the way down to Louisiana and back. So they're
Oh,
going to see if they can connect and sort of help each other out. And one actually has pilots that volunteer their time and fly as well. So that's really cool.
Oh,
So we
wow.
like to, even if we buy fuel cards for things like that, that's a really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Very cool. Anyways, didn't mean to interrupt your story because I think what you have read is a really great, what I call next chapter downsizing story. I mean, every woman has been through these whole things of downsizing. Children were going through those kind of things, and then it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous the things I sent. I found, I would keep, because my mother did it, they cut your hair and they keep a little piece of your hair and they put it in an envelope. And so I sent the picture to my, and thank God for the phones. I just took a picture of everything, throw it away. I sent the picture to my daughter, my middle daughter, of her hair, and I saved. She's like, "Why, Mom?"
I know. Why did you save that? I know. We've been going through that too. I'm still going through my father's stuff that passed away not too long ago, and it's a lot of things that it has memories for me. My kids don't really have the same kind of feeling, and I'm trying to figure out how do I think photographs are great. I think I'm going to make volumes of things, just like a photo book of things, because it's just stuff. And being a minimalist is really, really hard. And Kelly,
yes, it is
let me
really,
tell
really
you what,
hard.
I didn't realize this until I got the van. So I want to know, how do you guys do this? I mean, two people in a van, you got to make some hard choices on what you pack. So how long have you guys ever done a van trip? Like, what's the longest from how many days?
We did the month in Arizona.
Okay.
But Jonnie was out there. Jonnie took the van out there because she was off of work more than I was. And I forget, it wouldn't have been work for me back then. I guess it was school. I don't know. She drove it out there by herself, and then I flew out and she picked me up. But we have that chest of drawers that we built, those big 4 drawers. Oh, yeah. So we each get one big drawer for clothes and stuff. And then what we found is when you're really out doing the van life, we were hanging out with Dee and Tanya and Derek and stuff. Like, you don't need a lot of clothes. Like we were getting cleaned up every day and changing clothes. We did laundry once and stuff, but you don't need a whole lot of variety of different style of clothes. You know what I mean? Like, you just have real casual clothes that are comfortable, and it just seemed to work for us. And then we weren't really doing anything. So, if you wanted to wear the same top or pants or shorts a couple of times, it was not, a big deal. Like if you were at home sweating and doing stuff.
Right. I think right now in the South, it is extremely hot. I know it's hot out west too right now.
Yeah.
But when I'm packing, I'm looking at this going, I felt like I've lost 5 pounds of body weight just sweating all day. And you're like, ew. But I've learned I really like real packable things. In the summertime, of course, it's easy, but in the wintertime, it's a little different. So, and I'm a 4-season camper. I'm a 4-season traveler. So for me, you think, okay, hoodies and jeans, they take up a lot more room.
They do. Yeah.
I've ran into snow twice. So when I went to Denver, and it was kind of nice because my son said there isn't always snow that early for Thanksgiving. There was snow in Denver, and I was very thankful because, like, I don't recommend just taking off in your RV, but I just feel like I needed to go. I was so scared, I was scared, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go, and I hung out at my brother's for a while, so I was thankful for that. And what happened was kind of I don't know what you call it, a God thing or destiny thing. I don't know. My sister-in-law, my brother's wife, was in stage 4 of breast cancer, and my brother was getting very tired and taking care, and she was in and out of the hospital. She had been battling it for a long time. She had had periods of remission, but just had such always had such a positive, awesome attitude. I think that's why she just kept going and going and going. And but she was in the hospital before I got there. I didn't know that, and then was out of the hospital, and I got to spend the last month of her life with her. She passed away in January.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got to be there for her. That's important. That's a big deal. Tim is talking about his wardrobe. He's saying that people think he never changes clothes.
Well, I definitely have my favorites too.
I'm definitely, I have like certain colors. I stick to a color, or like I like to wear fishing pants because they're real thin. And so I can get away with wearing those, and they're SPF because I'm a super, super fair skinned person. And I imagine that.
Yeah, you gotta let me say my Redheaded poem. I thought that would be appropriate.
So much fun. All right, guys. I tell you what, we're at the half-hour mark. I've got to take my 60 seconds to thank our members real quick. So if you guys can hold on for 1 second, let's say thank you to all our channel members and all of our really cool people here in Travel Chick Chat. We're going to come back. We're going to drop a link. And for those ladies who want to come on up and talk to us and be part of the panel, we've got a few more questions. Here we go. Thank you to all our awesome channel members. We really do appreciate y'all. And you know where that money goes, which is really sweet. And we just had a super chat right here from Mayhem RV. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. In memory of our fur kid, Maggie. It's been 2 years, but it seems just like yesterday. And I'm sure that absolutely we know what that's like. And my fur kid says, thank you so much. So Rosie Bell says, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that. Aww. Very sweet. Oh my goodness. It looks like, oops, I dropped that link in the chat. If there's anybody who does want to come up, feel free. The only rule is you got to be a chick. That's the rule. Sorry, guys. We've had a couple guys dressed up with hats and wigs, not the same. Because we think this is our time for women to come up and talk about things, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But, I had one question. I just threw it out here. Here we go. Knowing what you know now, would you change anything about your RV or travel style?
Sometimes I need to plan. And when I started out, I was very, much planned where I stopped in Kansas before I got to Denver. And then when I took off from my brothers in April, I had no plans. And it was fun too. But I did need to plan. I didn't think about getting to Denver, and I didn't get to stay where I wanted to stay because I did not plan ahead. So I had to stay at kind of RV park that was kind of
not what you wanted.
No, I wanted to stay at Cherry Creek, which is a beautiful state park in Aurora, Colorado. And so I'm going to make my reservation. So I do need to plan. Sometimes I like to be spontaneous, but some things I need to plan. So that's what I need to change.
Kelly, what do you think?
One thing that's changed for us is I think in the beginning with the van, we felt like we needed a place with hookups, and we don't have air or heat that needs electric. So it's not true. Like we have enough solar for the refrigerator. That's the only 24/7 thing we have. So we felt like, and then with the rise in RVing and the rise in RV parks, when we were coming home from Mayberry last year, we just like on a whim decided to stay in the Smokies. And so last minute we were trying to find a reservation, and I think we paid close to $70 for, and it wasn't even a great park, and there was no like super amenities. So really, if anything, what we've done is we've really been doing more of the boondocking, like the Cracker Barrels. And one night when I went to Maryland City to see Jonnie as a surprise, she got a hotel room. It was Nurses Day. So she said for my first Nurses Day, she wanted it to be nice. So we got a nice hotel room. Well, then the next night we were saying, where should we stay? And we're like, let's just go back to that parking lot, because they didn't make us fill out anything for the car or anything. And there's plenty of room. We weren't stealing any space from anybody. So, I just think we're trying to be more like the boondocker type than always feel like we have to pay for a place.
Absolutely. And I think that's a different way of looking at it. I know when I travel with my better half, he loves to make sure everything's put together. And it's like, we want to go to a campsite. And I'm like, no. We've got all the stuff. We can just park anywhere. We're pretty self-sufficient. We can do a lot of that ourselves, which is fine. So, but he feels the need, got to plug in somewhere. I'm like, I've got a solar panel and we're doing okay. I got a generator just in case we'll be okay. I got to jump in here real quick. We got another awesome super chat. Oh my goodness. From Tim.
And you have a new member.
Love. Okay, now here we go. We're going to be safe. This is going to be a safe super chat. Here we go. Thank you for the super chat. It says, here's a token from Sky, my late fur baby godson. Very cool.
You have a new member too.
I saw that. Oh my gosh. What is it? Look at this. Marshall. Geez, guys, you are so sweet. Okay, Marshall, guess what? We have our official woo woo. There we go. Thanks, Marshall, for joining one of the coolest, awesome communities out there. We are travel and dog friendly. Just saying. We're gonna have to get together and do a ukulele demo. Here we go. I can feel it.
I heard about that. That.
It's gonna happen. I've got it back here before I forget. I will not be playing anytime soon because Marshall could kick my butt, but I'm saying, Marshall, I'm working on it. I'm just practicing. Someday it'll happen.
Work on it. You'll get it.
You should bring that to Mayberry. Jonnie was practicing hers last night.
This is about as much as I can put in my band.
Exactly.
Yep, that's it. Well, we've got a guest downstairs. All right, and I have to I will say this now. Brandon, you're an awesome member and you're pretty cool, but you're not a girl. So you can't come up on the chick chat today, kiddo. We'll have you up on another
Hi,
chat.
Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. We love you. You are super cool, but not
we
today.
love you, Brandon.
But we do have dun 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 Dream on Wheels.
Hi.
Yay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, but we're there.
It's one of those crazy days. So
We're down to the wire. We're down to the wire.
The countdown is on. Like, how far are we on working on the RV?
Well, RVs have to be done by Thursday, because Friday morning we are out and about.
Wow.
Yes. But we are okay. We are doing great. I still have not packed no clothes or shoes or nothing. I'm kind of overwhelmed about that, but listening to you saying like, okay, the clothes, we got this, and I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna pack now?
we have to help Yanni here because I have a feeling she's like me. She would pack everything. We talk about shoes.
So many
shoes are like a
clothes
big
to
issue.
get rid of.
And the thing is, it's not only me. And Travis, I'm gonna have 3 teenagers with us in the RV. Plus,
wow.
Suddenly, this week we got like 8 packages or the school, because the kids are gonna start new school because we're gonna be homeschooling them. So they should. At the door, it was like, how many supplies? And I'm like, oh my god! And Travis is already like, we have to put this over here and that have to be put over there, and we can only take one of these. And I'm like, okay, slow down.
It's hard. I think that's the hardest part.
Deep breath. Take a deep breath.
It's tough.
Like, oh my goodness.
Yanni, I do not envy you right now, and I think you are courageous for doing this. I got to tell you, because when Kelly and I it's like 2 people in a van, and you're going to have like a whole crew with all their stuff, and trying to do all that at the same time. So that's a big journey.
Yeah, and definitely, I don't want to wait no more. I want to be out and see places and meet people, and I would love to do that. I want my kids to see this country. I'm not from here, and my kids either. So I want to show them the country. And they are so excited. I was thinking that they were going to put some resistance for the school. They used to be in a school and everything. And when I say, no, we are leaving and we're going to do this, and they say, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, oh, yes, let's go.
That's awesome.
I was going to say, it helps when you have buy-in. I mean, imagine it could be the other way. It could be like, no, I don't want to go. And they're like, no, I want to go. So that's exciting. Yeah. So do you have any, and I have a lot of friends who are full-time families. They're out there on the road. And I know everyone pretty much says that first few trips, it's a lot of adjusting. It's a lot of timing and working things out and it's okay though. You're going to do great. You're going to do awesome. And you've got a great community here who's going to help you out with like lots of ideas and things to do. So, but have
you got my number? You got my number.
Yeah, you got numbers.
But I used to homeschool when I had 4.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. So do you have any projects or things you can think of that you want to have them do as you're traveling?
So far, I don't have nothing on mine. I'm going with the flow, especially now that we are going through the meetups first. Like right now, is like we're going to Amana first and stay there and see what is going to happen. We don't have a schedule. I'm not a scheduled person, I'm more like go with the flow and see what is happening and let's have fun, But no, I don't have no schedule right now.
Well, what's going to be interesting is, and you'll learn this, and we've learned this too. If you guys need to hook up, and as Red said, getting reservations, it's a deal breaker sometimes on certain things. So if that's something, if you can plan, if you're going to be at certain places at certain times, now's a good time to really start talking about that, because that's going to be the hardest part is, what happens when, and a lot of places have become like double booked.
We already have the Amana done. After Amana, we're going to Branson. From Branson, we're going to Michigan. From Michigan, we're going to North Carolina for the Mayberry meetup. So we already got those already scheduled, But
put the big rocks in the jar first.
Yeah.
Then the sand. That's what I heard.
And it's a big adjustment for us because here in the house, when they are in the mood, I'm like, okay, bye. You are in your mood, bye. But we're gonna be in a little space all together, so it's a big adjustment. Teenagers, oh my God.
You should do what mothers in the 70s did. They put us outside and locked the door, didn't let us in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them inside.
That's what I'm saying. You lock them out.
My mom knew these tricks. My mom would disappear. I'd be like, where did she go? Where did she go?
So here's my suggestion. Here's my suggestion on teenagers and RV parks, because this is important. When you get there, I would sort of put it into quadrants. And I've heard this from other friends in the past too. So they talk about if there's a playground, is there a swimming pool, is there someplace, because there's going to come a time when you need some alone time. Yes. They need some time out to themselves. And as long as there's really good communication and you've checked out those places ahead of time, that's number one. Give everybody like a space that you feel comfortable with having them walk to and walk back. But the second thing is making sure they're really safe, because even though RVers are really cool, things do happen, and teenagers are teenagers, and making sure that, they're in constant communication in case something happens. If you've got to take off and you've got to find them,
we're going to take with us our bikes so we can go bike riding. Maybe mom is going to disappear first. They know how to survive without me.
You want to see everybody? Okay,
we're taking out our
come here, baby.
Bikes. Come here. So we can go in the bike rides and let's see what happens. Let's see.
Yeah. That's the cool part. I think it's really cool. I'm excited for y'all. I really am. Now, Red, I know you've heard this before, but we are the sisterhood of the traveling margaritas.
Yes. I can't wait for that.
So oh my goodness, I see a doggy. Hold on.
I think she heard you, Charlie Grace.
There's Miss Maddie. Look at that face. Oh, what a precious pup. Oh, and my dog's like, who are you talking to? Oh, look at all.
I actually have a doggy story. I'm kind of, uh, I mean, it's sad, but I feel like I did the best thing. So I had an adorable little puppy. She is, Maltese, I think, part Mal. She was a mixture. But anyways, I didn't plan on getting her. But what was neat was so we had a family dog, and my son had a dog, and my daughter had a dog. My daughter didn't live with us at that time though; she had her own place. But so 3 dogs at the house sometimes, and we had cats too. I had 13 cats at one time in my big house, but at this time we had like 2, 3 dogs. So I wasn't looking for a dog, but we had a tenant that her she had 2 little boys that were 8 and 10, and they went to see the uncle, and he gave them a puppy. She said, I didn't even realize they had a puppy in the back seat until like I was halfway. Her brother lived in Florida and she lived in Georgia, and so she's like she was working a lot, a single mom, and I was like, you can't. She wasn't putting it out, and it was going to the bathroom in the den. And I said, you can't do this. And she said, well, I'm gonna find the dog. I'm like, give me her, I'll find her a home. And so it was like a failed, a foster fail. It was kind of like a foster fail. But anyways, I didn't think I was gonna take her with me, but she's very nervous, and I took her to the lawyer's office when I was signing the papers on my house, and she was just shaking all over. She was nervous, and I just started to think, I don't think this is gonna work. And I knew a friend, and it was actually forever best friend. She was involved with fostering and all of that, and so I called her, and we found her a home.
Nice.
So
we have a dog, but my daughter said, you don't take the dog with you? Because I got one. My oldest, she's staying behind. She said, you are not taking my dog. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the dog needs to stay with her.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, we're down to our final 10 minutes. It's sort of fun. I've got some interesting photos to share, and I want to see what you think about this. Okay. So have any of you ever been to what we call a crick or creek party, where you have a big table and you eat in the creek? Lots of really cool things like this. And I've seen RV parks have these too. Have you ever been to one of these?
Never seen that.
That was like Alsea Falls. I went to Alsea Falls, the Oregon meetup, and I didn't really plan on that, but it was so much fun. But we had a campfire near the creek, but it wasn't quite as fancy as that. But we had lots of food and fellowship and fun.
I think they need to put bug spray by the table too, just so you know. I've been to these before, like mosquitoes as big as your head that come and want to eat your dinner as well. So these are really fun. If you ever get a chance to do these, I highly recommend. Sometimes you go places and they have like special events or something going on.
Yeah.
And this is just one of those, like, sometimes those once in a lifetime moments, where it be like we did that hillbilly clue. We were at a Harvest Toast and they were having like a redneck clue game. That was really fun. But I always say, look for these like little things that you may not have planned that just fall in your lap. And so this was at a crick party that we were invited to. And I thought this was really cool.
That looks fun.
I know it does look fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another one that I think is interesting that you guys, I'm going to let you just go to town on this. I want to get your opinion on this. You ready?
I cannot do that.
What?
It's a truck camper, but they have a thing on the back where they put all the other stuff on, which is fine. And you see that a lot with a lot of truck campers, or maybe in van life. I have a problem because I'm the person who can never get it tied down really well. I would be afraid it'd be just come off and be rolling down the highway.
If I keep buying stuff, I'm gonna make Travis do that for me.
We have one of those for the van, and it was so we could have one of those. We borrowed our friend's big Yeti coolers for the Mayberry meetup. We sponsored that first night happy hour thing. So we used that to carry the big cooler on, and I don't really think we had much else on there, but we just didn't have convenient room in the van. When I was growing up, that's the kind of camper we had as a kid. My parents, that kind of truck camper.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we went to Niagara Falls in it.
Truck camping is really big right now. A lot of people are liking it because they want to have this all-terrain vehicle-ish. They want to go different places that they can't go, maybe in a van or something like that. So I think it's interesting to see, it's just becoming big again. Big topic. I know, Red, do you think you could ever do truck camping?
Yeah, I could do any kind of camping. My family camped, and that's a lot of reason why I wanted to do this. We lived in California until I was 12. And so we would go about every year to Yosemite. We would go to Carpinteria on the beach and camp. I've already been to Carpinteria in my RV and been to San Diego. Not Yosemite though. That's another place. You got to plan ahead. And if I wanted to get into Rocky Mountain National Park in November, I could probably make a reservation now too. But yeah, we used to camp and we used to be in tents, and my parents were in the camper. So I wanted to get my own camper. And then later on, my parents, when we moved to Florida and then they moved to Texas, when they lived in Texas in the 90s, they bought a RV that is similar to mine. I think it was a little bit shorter. And so they would come whenever I had a baby, I had 5 babies. They weren't able to come. By the time I had my youngest in 2001, though, they had moved back to California, and my mom was in great health. They did come that year, and that was the last time my mom and dad came to my house. But they would come in the RV when the older ones were born, and they would stay in our driveway in Moochdock.
Oh wow, how
Nice.
cool!
They know it was called Moochdock.
Yeah, Moochdocky before it was a thing.
Moochdocky before it was cool. Exactly
to
right.
see the grandkids. Yeah.
Okay, do any of you ladies or anyone in the chat, which is fun, does anyone keep a journal of all of their travels? This is a lady.
I'm a writer, so
this is sort of fun though.
Yes.
I love when people journal and stuff, and I love this. We've got a lady who's going to be coming up in one of our travel chick chats. She did a guided journal for outdoor adventure. So for those who need a little something to push you in the right direction, see, it's fun.
I'm planning to do mine.
Yeah, you need to do something because I know, Kelly, when I saw you and Jonnie have the journal with stickers, like that.
Yeah, that's the book for all the channel stickers, and people write a message. That's a little different. Jonnie started a journal when she started doing this travel nursing, but I'm imagining she's behind in her entries because she hasn't mentioned it in a while.
Yeah, it's just sort of fun to go through and start talking about some of the cool places you liked, or where have you been, or something cool that happened that day. I think journals are really interesting, and it's really cool. She Double Venture says, she goes, I do a journaling book. It was a birthday gift from one of my camping buddies. How cool is that?
That's very cool.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I had it was kind of hard. It was rough, but I had 100 journals through over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And I saved a few of my recent ones, and a lot of my writings are in my journals and have already been transferred onto my computer or whatever. And I write poems in my journals, and they're already transferred, hopefully, because I threw away a lot of journals. And I had some of this was even harder, and I didn't throw away all of them, but my mom had journals too. And my mom had passed away in 2009. So it was very hard. And I did take pictures I couldn't take pictures of all the pages, but I did take pictures of them. And I saved I think I might have still 2 of my mom's journals, or 3. I gave one to my kids. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I just had too many. I'm these aren't going to fit in because I had 100 of them.
Yeah, you start thinking about all those things. I know Karen says I do journaling for emotional support. I think it's great. I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, if you're able to put things down on paper and get those thoughts out, and
it's helpful. Yeah,
very, very helpful. Really,
it's very
usually when I think of a poem, it ends up in my journal first, and then I transfer it onto the computer.
Very cool. Well, Red, I know that you've got a live in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We're all going to do a raid over to Redheaded Writinghood, so I'm going to let you drop. Awesome. We're going to say bye to Red.
Bye, Red.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Kelly, guys. Bye, Kelly. Bye.
Bye.
She's so cool. So much fun.
Yeah.
I know it's like when you got a live coming up and you got like, I gotta go. I got stuff going on. So, all right, now Maddie is how old now? Your dog?
She was 6 this year.
She was 6 this year. So I wanted to I wanted to ask you this question because I want to know, is there any kind of tips you have traveling with a little dog in your van?
Well, I mean, we do a lot of planning because we don't want to ever leave her alone in the van.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would depend on the weather, but depending on the weather, we just really don't like leaving her alone in the van.
Right.
And that's a lot of planning when you don't have the heater that we use is only a heater we would use if we were there in the van, and we don't have an air conditioning system yet. So, Maddie, she's giving me all the loves and thank yous for not letting her die in the van.
You're talking about me.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our biggest thing when we travel with her. The good thing was when we went to Arizona, she was there. Yeah, Jonnie took her out with her and I flew out. But the weather was good, so we didn't have to worry about like, if we went to eat or something. But
we've been talking a lot about temperatures and things, and I know I've already put about 76 hours on my generator specifically for times when I could go somewhere and Rosie couldn't go. I just put up that video on the lighthouses, and although lighthouses are really cool, they won't let you take a dog up there. And even from a service dog standpoint, and I have to throw this out there because I know a lot of friends who have service dogs, those spiral stairs are really hard to do. And even for a service dog, they could get their paws. It would not be very comfortable as well. So it would not be my suggestion to do that. Just saying out loud, I would not pick that. But you can take the dogs on the grounds and you can go check them out that way. But as far as climbing up them, I wouldn't suggest it.
the other thing about Maddie is I feel like she's calm when we travel. I mean, she generally will get kind of settled in where she's at for the drive, but she does, she's changed her habits because some of you that know her well enough know she's a litter box dog. And even though we created a space for the litter box and we bring the litter box with us, she really doesn't use it when we're out in the van. She goes outside, which is totally opposite of when she was a puppy. When she was a puppy and we first started traveling, it was like she didn't even know dogs could go potty outside.
Right.
And we'd carry her litter box into hotels and all kinds of things. But I guess in the van, my only guess is it's such a small space, she just doesn't like using the litter dog in the van.
Yeah, and I could see that. And Doreen's like, no more dogs for me. I enjoyed not having to worry about one. It's good company, but I'm enjoying not having one. And I think that's, there's a lot of people who get to that point, and that's totally fine. Absolutely. Yep. I get it. Well, Bang says, is there a cooling jacket that you can put in your fur baby while you were in and out? You can, but you got to be careful because they're typically like wet and moisture. So then you've got like a wet dog running around. It's a little different on that one. So you've got a different story. Hey, listen, we are about at that time. I have one little thing that I'm going to share with you guys. Nobody else knows about this. I'm unveiling it tonight. It's a big deal. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of feedback on this. I'm just putting it out there. And here we go, guys. Are you ready? It's coming. The Forever Best Friend hat is coming. We are going to unveil this at the Asheville van meetup. And we're going to be there in September in Asheville at the big van meetup. And we're going to bring these hats. We just ordered the patches. For those of you who don't know, trying to get anything done with all the supply chain, it's really, really, really hard. But we're going to be having these out there. They're going to be free. We will accept donations. All the donations will go towards our charities, which is great. But we'd rather give you a hat and do something nice and then do a suggested donation and let it be like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I want to just say thank you, ladies, for coming up. Thank you so much. This is so much fun.
Thank you for having us.
Yay. I appreciate it. And can one of our moderators drop Red's link again? We'll do a FBF raid over at Redheaded Writinghoods. A black van. Yes, a black van. Someone said a black van. Yes. It's a silhouette. It's a very, just a silhouette in the sunset. That's how we thought would work. But let us know. We can't wait to see everybody. We're going to do these meetups too. We can't do all of them. We'll do a few of them because we've got a lot of things coming up. But we'll definitely be at Mayberry. We'll definitely be at Michigan. And we will, when the hats come out, we will put them out online and let people know where they can get them if we don't do a meetup. So that's not a problem. All right, everybody. Nice. Thank you so much. Kelly with Vanderella.
Bye.
Yanni with Dream on Wheels. The Sisterhood of the Traveling
Bye.
Margaritas rides again.
Bye.
Yes.
Everybody.
Bye.